Hey guys, today's VOD review is going to be with a Bronze 2 mid laner who is playing Casted. Now, you might quickly go, well, oh, he's Bronze 2, I'm not going to learn anything from this. Well, if you ever have problems with wave management, CSing, recall timers, item builds, champion identities, playing against assassins, roaming, objective control, then this VOD review, no matter what rank you are, basically gold and below, is going to be really useful for you. Even in plat, this is going to be useful, and anywhere above that, it's probably not going to be useful. But it's a really in-depth video where we just focus on the early game, so the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, and I break down every single thing where he could have gone wrong. At the start of this call, the player was like, I want to watch this game because I don't know what I did wrong. I feel like I couldn't have done anything else differently, and we still lost. And I go, okay, let's watch it. He talks me through the process. I make sure he explains the things as well as I do, so he understands exactly what we're talking about, and to make sure that he actually knows and understands the information and processes it properly. And that's something you get with my game reviews when you get them. So if you are interested in getting a game review before we get into this, link in the YouTube description below. But yeah, please enjoy the game review. Thanks, guys. Cool. So do you remember much about this game while it's loading?
No, no, sorry.
That's all right.
I just scouted a game, but they're all like roughly the same. It's just like I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. I mean, Z matchup's pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, this one, the Zed was just really good.
Yeah.
Okay, this might not be the best game, but it's fine. The Zed just like stomped me.
We can look at another one if we can do another one if you want.
Yeah.
We can look through
I don't know. Do
OP.gg.
you think there's value in just like a game where I kind of just got stomped by the enemy mid, or?
It can be, because if you feel like it's a big problem, like how to deal with, I guess, counter matchups, if you want to learn to do that better, I think it's a good place to start. Because particularly in bronze, like if you don't know how to deal against counter matchups as Cass, it's going to be really hard because you're a scaling champ and you generally don't win lane too hard against a lot of matchups. But the key to Kassadin is hitting level 6, then hitting level 11. Because that's where you start to shine. So if you want to look at rough matchups and how to do better in them, I'd say it could be a good one to review.
Yeah, let's just do it. It should be fine.
Sure. We can also do, because this game's only 23 minutes, we could maybe do two. We'll look at like 2 early games. So we'll look at just how this laning phase plays out, and then we can look at another one.
Sure.
Depending on timing. Cool. I just gotta fix my sound settings. Alright, cool. Can you hear the sound at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Alright, we won't be able to do that.
Sorry, it's not.
That's alright. Alright. Okay, cool. So tell me about the Zed Cass matchup. What do you know about it?
So I think I even learned from this game, but like I started to build Frozen Heart, like rush that first item of Frozen Heart. I saw someone do it in a YouTube.
Yeah.
But Zed obviously has amazing poke, like especially with electrocute, like it's kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Um,
Keep going.
so I don't know. It's almost just like dodge and just like get CS with your Q.
Yeah.
And
So
then at 6,
yeah.
sorry.
No, you keep going.
At 6, you actually do wreck Zed. Like he can't do anything to you, but
Yeah. So it sounds like get whatever resources you can, survive to 6. So the win condition basically is don't die before 6. That's how I read what you've just said.
yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Now what do you know about runes? Like how good's your understanding of runes in League of Legends?
Not good.
Okay, cool. Don't know what the best site is to look at like an overview of runes, but let's see. That's just Rune Wars. This is kind of shit because there's no... Let's just quickly get this video up. Fuck me, man. Alright, let's just go. Let's see if there's an image here. See how good quality this is. Okay, cool. Can you see that on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so electrocute primary is good. Let's look at what you went this game. So you went electrocute, you went taste of blood, you went eyeball collection, and then you went ultimate hunter. Nothing wrong with this. I think that's fine. This secondary tree is where I want to look at. So when you're versing oppressive matchups and you're a scaling champ, you should use your secondary tree to be more sustain focused and survive. Rather than Triumph and Coup de Grace, they're not that efficient, particularly in a tough matchup. So, let's open this. So, this is... Okay, cool. So, the 2 runes I would actually be going instead is in the Resolve tree in your secondary, and I would be going... Oh, these are old as fuck. Man, why are these... Alright. So the 2 I'd be going bone plating, and then you could go what's the other one called? Let me look it up. These old. Oh my god, why are these so old? Fuck. Okay, let's just go here.
Are we doing...
So I'd be going like bone plating, and then you could go like unflinching, or you could go revitalize here, or even overgrowth. Because bone plating, do you know what bone plating does?
It's like the next 3 attacks do less, right?
And what's Zed's trading combo?
Like WEQ.
Yeah, so basically 3 attacks. So it's really good in lane, and it will help you survive. And then the other secondary doesn't matter too much, but the bone plating is really important for this matchup. So immediately, what I'd go, particularly in Zed matchups and matchups where you know they poke, like let's say you're versing even like a Renekton, someone that has like those kind of combos, always go bone plating secondary, because Cass doesn't really need his secondary tree to be like damage focused or anything like that. Because he scales, he can get away with going like defensive focus on your secondary runes, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, cool. So that's the first one that does quite well, because you've kind of half committed. So Doran Shield's a really good one because it's super defensive. And it makes sense because you're restoring the health. But if you add bone plating to this as well, you now have a much, much easier laning phase. Bone plating on average against a Zed, between levels of 1 to 6, you're probably going to mitigate about 200 to 300 damage, which is massive pre-6, right? Because health pot is literally 150 health, so it's like 2 health pots basically for free. Is a cool way to look at it. Obviously, it's not the exact same thing as a health potion, but in terms of like comparing it to something.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the first one. Always go defensive on your secondary tree for tough matchups. And you can do it on all matchups if you want, like Lux, it can work. What I'd recommend for champs that are more single trade focused are second wind. So if they're very heavy poke, but they don't have like a combo like Zed, so let's say Lux, for example, with her E, second wind can actually be a really good choice, because every time you get hurt by the enemy, you restore a percentage of your health, missing health. And it
Okay,
can do
yeah.
the same thing as bone plating, but it's better against people who just use one ability consistently.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's all good. Okay. So Zed's pushing in this wave and you're kind of letting him, which I think's okay. Just because you kind of have to. I think because you have Doran Shield here, all Zed has at level 1 is his Q. I think what you need to be doing is matching his auto attacks and his damage. So you don't mind this wave getting pushed into you, but you don't want it to crash into your turret, right? So like the wave staying here or here is fine, but you don't. I mean, you can have it crash into turret because Caston can see us under turret, but it technically allows Zed to roam or get a recall off. So I want you to actually be like trying to trade auto attack for auto attack here because you've got the Doran shield. So his Qs, you're pretty much going to heal up all the damage from his Qs with your Doran shield. So I don't mind. See how you're just sitting here not doing anything? I'd actually want you to be auto attacking these. One, because it allows you to control the wave. So you never want the enemy to be controlling the wave unless you want them to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I understand.
it's one variable that you're giving over to the enemy for free when you just sit there. And
Right.
you want to be controlling as many variables as possible, but if you're not managing your wave, you lose recall priority, you lose roam priority, and you can potentially lose CS if the wave gets pushed in.
Yeah.
And then it
That's
allows Zed to do everything. So it allows him to recall when he wants. It allows him to roam when he wants.
it's
Yeah. So yeah. Uh,
no, it's funny you said that because in my head I was like, oh, I can just CS under turret, so it's great.
yeah.
But it's exactly what you said, where he stomped other lanes, and everyone on my team was mad at me this game. It's just coming back to me.
Yeah, so it's tough because Caston's never going to be able to roam as well as a Zed. So he kind of beats your champion. Like his champion identity is better for roaming than a Cassidon. So it's tough, but you can mitigate it, right? So yes, he's got a really strong roaming identity as a champion because he's old, he's mobile, and he does a bit more damage than you. Um, but you can try and mitigate his strengths by not allowing him to roam or making sure you can punish it. Like if he roams, you should be able to get a plating in return, or you try and follow him 5 seconds later. They're basically your options. You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to see us under turret while he roams.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
all comes through wave management right now. So you never give him the opportunity to roam for free. Because if you have the wave in the middle and he goes to roam, you can either get a plating or you can go follow him. But if the wave is into your turret, it's like, oh, great, I can see us under turret, but now Zed's roaming and he's probably going to kill my team because it's bronze and they don't listen to pings. Yeah, right. That's the first thing. Yeah, let's play this out. Cool. So yeah, I want you to be up here attacking. That was unlucky. I also think yeah, it's okay to use your Q poke here. Cool. Yeah, see, and like I don't. You should never be just sitting in lane. So there's two reasons for this. You should be always like jumping back and forth, like left, right, left, right. Just because you sitting all the way back here is basically telling Zed, I have control of this lane. So not only are you giving him control, but in Zed's head, he is like, okay, this Caston's playing passive. I own this lane. And now he's like getting the confidence and like ego to an extent, but he's building his confidence on the fact that, oh, this Caston's just letting me do what I want. And now he's going to get more aggressive and you're going to get more oppressed. Does that make sense? Because if you look how far you're back, he's level 1. All he has is Q. He can't kill you. Like he's got no kill. He's got no kill opportunity here. The only kill opportunity he has is like if he gets level 2 first, but even then, it's very hard for a Zed to kill a Kassadin with Doran's shield, and with flash up at level 2. So like you're almost playing passive for no reason. And then he gets level 2 first, which is also why you want to be pushing this wave. Because technically he could just jump in here and go for a quick short trade on you. I don't think he does. Yeah. Yeah, and this is not a good trade for you. I mean, you actually did pretty well there. And now look at this wave. So, like, you miss 1, you miss 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minions, all because of that first little wave of you being passive. So 6 minions, I guess he missed a few as well, right? You're only 3 down to him. But 6 minions, it's like 100 and a bit gold. Like, just off simple wave management. And then that'll add up because it'll probably happen like 2 or 3 times this game. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so scared this game.
It's because Zed's oppressive, right? We irrational, like it becomes irrational though. So watch this irrational. So okay, Zed uses both his abilities. He's level 2, right? Zed can't do anything here. If he jumps to Shadow, the turret attacks him. But look at how far back you are. Like, you can actually be up here trying to break this wave. Like, just auto attacks. Because he's just used both his abilities. So, they're on cooldown for another... His W's on cooldown for 13 seconds. Sure, his Shuriken's up, but that's fine. You should be up here again, killing this wave, so that it doesn't crash and you lose another 6 minions.
Okay.
A good way to look at it is like, this is a counter matchup. It's going to be hard for you to win this lane 1v1, just because of the pure champion matchup. But the more you can mitigate how big his lead is, the better it is for everyone on your team. So yes, you're probably going to lose this matchup pre-6 9 times out of 10. Maybe once, like if you start one-tricking Cass, you get like 300, 400 games under him, you can get very comfortable with this matchup. But you're always going to lose it, but it's a matter of asking yourself, well, how much do I want to lose this by? Do I want to lose it by 2 kills and 40 CS? Or do I want to lose it by 0 kills and 30 CS? Or like, you know, you can actually be like, okay, I can fully submit to this Zed, or I can at least try and contest him a bit. I'm still going to lose it, but as long as I don't die and I try and keep up with CS, I'm at least going to come out of this counter matchup like slightly better off than what could happen. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Cool. I'll change vision so we can't really see volley. Good. I like this trade window. Purely because he used all his abilities, so you're not letting him trade for free. This is kind of dangerous for you, but you got to take this wave. Okay, so we don't know where's Zed. Okay, never mind. He's there. Okay, this is a really awkward position. What could you do here?
Recall?
Yeah. What have you got that Zed doesn't have?
Teleport.
Yeah. I think because of the wave state right now, this is actually pushing. So because you've got this melee advantage here, and it's a cannon wave, you're very safe here. I don't think he can clear this before here, and technically you're going to get back to lane. You might lose 3 CS, but already under turret, you just lost 6 CS on your first wave. So losing 3 CS to get back to 100% health is like worth it. Does that... Because you've even got a CS lead right now. You're technically winning this lane. But it probably feels like you're losing it because of the health gap. So what I would do is I'd recall on this purely because of this melee minion. I'd actually... Yeah, I'd recall right now. After that poke, I would walk back here right now and now start my recall and then TP back. It'll take about, let's say, you'd get back to lane at like 3:55. So let's see what the wave state is at 3 minutes 55. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that would have avoided the first death. And that comes through a matter of like pressing tab and rationalizing the state of the game. So it's like, yes, I'm on like 20% health, and yes, this Zed's oppressing me, but if I die to Zed, he's winning this matchup. So you need to be super like, just take the little L. Just be like, okay, I could potentially lose 3 CS. In hindsight, you wouldn't actually have lost any CS here. If you think about it, because look at the wave state now at 401. It might be here because he realized you're backing and push a little bit, but you would have lost maybe 3 or 4 CS. Instead, you lose now 400 gold basically to him. He's now got a 400 gold lead, all because we wanted to stay for like potentially 3 CS, like 80 gold. Yeah, I'm just trying to rationalize it in your head for you so it like makes sense. You don't. This TP's okay because you'd probably lose Kata if you didn't. Alright, so you go tier. Yeah, this is just a shitty wave state.
Yeah, because it's not big enough to crash. Right?
Yeah. Okay, Eve's pinged that she wants to go top side, so... Okay, she's going... Cool. Alright, what are your options here?
Nothing.
Yeah. You could recall and get a cloth armor. So what I would suggest doing is... You could recall here, put a ward here, and then just recall and get your cloth armor to survive Zed a bit. And then this... So another cool little trick you can do against Zeds is the more time you're not in lane against him, theoretically the better. So if you can do recall timers so that you're not in lane. So if you can push the wave into his turret and then recall, he's then killing CS while you're not in lane, and then he'll leave after that. And it reduces your time in lane with him, which is really good, if that makes sense, because you don't get poked by him and you don't get killed by him. The one problem it does lead to is that he can get roams off. But at this point, you're already 1 kill down. It's kind of tough, and he's still pre-6. So you could get a recall off here, if you wanted to, buy like cloth armor to get a bit more defensive, and then be ready for his level 6. Cool. And like, isn't this great? Like, if you didn't die, like, you'd still be ahead of this guy. So like, an oppressive matchup where Zed should be smashing you pre-6, you'd actually be winning this matchup right now, technically. Which is a really good... I think that's a really good way to look at it. Yeah. Fuck me. His trade's pretty brutal with Serrated Dirk. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, so what's gonna happen in about 5 seconds? Like around once Zed kills this wave.
6 and ult.
Yeah. So let's watch what happens. So this wave's good for you because it's pushing in, and you've got no refillables left. That's okay. Okay. Cool. What do we think Zeds usually do at level 6?
Just
if they can't kill you.
If they can't kill you, roam.
Yeah. Cool. I know he's on vision. I want you to ping this though. Just because people don't look at that. Like, I don't know if you saw him on your minimap as well. Like, I assume you play Dota, so you're okay with minimap.
Yeah, I'm not the. I wasn't like amazing at Dota.
Oh, okay, okay. So what I would do is whenever you, because you knew, I just asked you, you knew what Zed's probably going to do, right? And then this visually confirms it. And so what I would do is send off like 3 danger pings. One on Zed, one here, to show his path, or even to just let Eve know that like this Zed might be even looking for a roam here. Just because these guys are probably so engrossed in their wave that they're not even thinking about Zed level 6. But we'll see where he goes. Yes, okay, so you could do 1 miss ping. Zed's in this bush right now. Does Eve know?
I might have missed him on the ward.
Yeah, yeah. Because I want you to be spamming miss here, because Zed at level 6 is really scary. And look what your bot lane's doing right now with Zed up somewhere here. Like, this could be potential disaster. Okay, so they see him now. Cool. Okay, you do a couple of spam pings. Good, and you go to rotate. I think it's the right call, as long as you don't get caught by volley. Okay, that's okay. You stop volley into that fight. Okay, I don't mind that. I don't think you could have 1v1 Volibear there. Okay, let's see if you should be rotating to this right now. This is really dangerous of her. Alright, I want you to be using... So, I want you to be either hard pushing this or helping Eve. You can't be slow pushing this, because we know where Zed is. Zed just recalled. We know where Aphelios is. And Ziggs, I don't know where Ziggs is. I don't know where Garen is. But you either need to be hard pushing this, because you can ult out. Or you need to be helping Eve here. You can't just be going for the farm. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
Eve's emptying a bit here. Like, she shouldn't be trying to do dragon there. But this is wrong. Because this wave's, like, almost frozen at this point. So, you can actually leave this wave, and it's not going to end too badly. And, realistically, even if this wave's in a shit position, you're going to, again, lose, like, 100 gold. But this is a level 4 volley with no flash. That's, like, 300, 350 gold right there. Like, this is a much more, like, easier play, and it helps your team out. So, like, I want you to be doing this, like, 15 to 20 seconds earlier than what you've done here. Because now the opportunity's kind of gone, potentially. We might... Actually, it might work out. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. So, I guess the outcome's still the same, but I would have wanted to see that, like, 15 seconds earlier. You can't really go to lane here. Yeah. I don't like this dragon call, but Eve's forcing it. And at least all 4 of you go here, but... Oh, Eve, what do you... Oh, Lord, this is just... Nice, good take. You got to get out of here. Just leave. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's a real... Like, I assume you saw that as a bad dragon play as well, right? But your team went for it, so you had to help them.
I don't know if I have that. Like, I don't know that.
Okay.
Like, why was it?
Okay, yeah, let's go back. Cool. Sorry. Too much assumption. Okay, so this is a bad one because... Okay, why do I think it's a bad one? Let's hear your thought process on why I think it's bad. See if you can come up with some reasons before I say anything.
Everyone's alive on the enemy team.
Yep.
We don't see them.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have vision. And we know that, like, some of them were bought recently.
And we know Zed recalled about 15 seconds, 20 seconds ago, so he's going to be here in this fight. What do we know about Eve?
Not much. Like, almost nothing.
Just like general stuff. So,
She's squishy, does a lot of damage.
so she's jungling. She's sorry, at this current point in time, super low health. And
Yeah.
what summoner spell is she missing that's usually key for taking objectives?
Her six? Her smite?
Her smite. Yeah, she doesn't have smite at the moment. So this is like a disaster waiting to happen because I think Zed's like here right now. I'm not sure. Okay, Zed's here. Oh no, we literally would have just seen Zed because he was clearing that wave. Um, so
Actually,
this,
would you be like taking this dragon and looking at Eve's smite, like the status of her smite?
yeah, I would be because I play jungle, so I know that like I play jungle as well as mid. Well, I've played every role, but it comes with like experience. But generally, whenever I'm on an objective with my team, I check to see if our jungler has smite because it changes my understanding of how the objective's going to get played out. So, okay, let's say Eve has smite here. How does the objective control change a little bit?
We're like way more vulnerable to it being stolen.
Yeah, yeah. And that means like you guys technically have to save your abilities to try and last hit it because as we see, Ziggs is like jumping over, trying to shoot it, and you do actually steal it with your last ability, which is really good.
Yeah, I was like, she's gonna smite it, and then she
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
So
yeah, because she doesn't have smite. So that's why I was like, this dragon's really bad. One, because you're losing all this CS, but your team committed to the drag, so you kind of have to. But now this Zed's got this really, like, nice position here. Cool, so I like that you save your R here. Perfect. But now you want to get out. Yeah. It's also a bad drag, but again, I don't think you could have not done drag here. If you didn't come, this would have gone a lot worse, if that makes sense. So, it's the wrong call by Eve, but you guys almost made it the right call because you all committed, if that makes sense. So, like, in a perfect solo queue game, you don't do dragon here. But it's a bronze solo queue game, and your Eve at level 5 on 20% health without smite wants to do dragon. And your MF and your Zillion have committed. So it's like, well, fuck, I may as well go, otherwise my team's gonna blow up at me, right? So it's like, it's objectively the wrong call, but because your whole team's committed to it, you almost have to go for it, otherwise it's not gonna work.
Right.
But trading, like, I guess Eve dying for Ocean Drag, it's like pretty even trade. So, like, one death for drag is kind of worth, but it never had to happen in the first place. But it was kind of just an event that happened because of the game. Cool. I'd recall after this. What the oh, Zillion.
Nah, that guy started rage paying me after that.
You cannot do anything about that. Cool. I like this recall because it's on a cannon wave as well. It's a you couldn't have done anything there. You can't follow that up. There's nothing you could have done there. Okay, Darksteel boots. Talk to me about this over other items.
Yeah, let's see. I guess they have a lot of AP. Like I was thinking, like I've learned now that Frozen Heart is really strong against like an AD mid.
Yep.
But they have like Ziggs. They have Garen. I don't know what the other two heroes are.
Volley is like probably like 60-40, 40% magic. Aphelios is like 90-10, probably 90% AD. So yeah, they've got a pretty good balance of damage. So I like that thought process, but now let's take it one step further and add the context to the game. So one, yes, they've got a diverse array of damage, magic and physical. Can Castans really build magic defense? Not really. You can go like Banshees, but it's not that good. Also, Zed's 3-0. So who's the threat on their team right now?
Zed.
Yeah, and you're laning against him, and you know he's basically all AD, and he's building flat armor pen already. So, yeah. I think instead of the Dark Steel boots, I would be going like Cloth Armor and trying to build like Seeker's Arm Guard instead of Frozen Heart first.
Okay.
Do you know what Seeker's Arm Guard builds into?
Zonia's, right?
Yeah. And what's also good about Zonia's?
Is you just nullify Zed's ult.
Yeah, so you can buy the stopwatch early, which allows you to disable one Z ult pretty much for free. Well, not for free, for 650 gold, but it can make the difference in lane. And then it's also armor, it's the stasis effect, and it gives you AP. The problem with Frozen Heart is it only gives you mana and armor. So for your first item, Frozen Heart, if you're going defensive, I wouldn't say is the best one. Because Zed doesn't really rely on attack speed either. I know the passive of Frozen Heart is good, but I actually think Zhonya's is the better defensive play here.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So instead of Darksteel, Boots is okay because Boots I class as like defense. What's... Okay, so you go for the amplifying term. Alright. Let's look at something here. Cool. So yeah, I'd go defensive. Let's look at how many seconds it takes you to buy here. So it's 8:31. Yeah.
No, great point. Yeah. I think I was really struggling to like think of what I wanted.
Yeah, that comes with time. $20 seconds. 21 seconds to buy here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's walk through the buying process. So one, I guess you don't know what you're wanting to buy. Now, I think you should know that it's pretty much always Zhonya's first in a tough matchup like this where Zed's ahead. So as you're like right now, you need to be thinking about what to buy right now. Zed's not going to kill you. He doesn't even know you're backing. And this wave prevents him basically from killing you. So what I'll be thinking in my head right now is what do I want to buy? While you're recalling. So use the recall time to think about what you want to buy is the first thing. Second, as soon as you get to base, walk up to here and click shop while you're walking.
Okay.
Because you can be walking here, buy every single item, and by the time you get here, you've bought all your items and you're now off to lane. Making this like a 4 second transaction compared to a 21-second transaction. So saving literally 15 seconds every time you buy. So let's say you recall, I don't know, 5 times in a game. What's that? 5 times 15. That's like over a minute 15 you've saved purely through buying more efficiently. That's like massive. Particularly in the early game. Because you get to lane 15 seconds quicker, which means you can respond to either this wave 15 seconds quicker or Zed's roam 15 seconds quicker. Instead, like, look, Zed's pushed this wave in and he's already like halfway to here. And you've just left base. I mean, like, Eve should never have been there, but again, it's like bronze. Like, I don't know why she's bot side when she's got a whole top side jungle, but you can't really do much about that.
Also, were boots a good call or not really?
I think Boots was the best buy out of everything here. Just because it counts as defense, because movement speed allows you to dodge abilities, allows you to walk around the map a bit better. I'd be more worried about the Dark Steel and the Amp Tome. I'd rather be going Seekers. And if it means like you have to wait on Boots, I think go Seekers over Boots, if that makes sense. Seekers Arm Guard. Yeah. I also think the first back tier isn't good because you died. So because you died for your first recall, I don't think buying tier is good. I think actually going for defense is better. Or a bit of damage, like maybe amplifying tome or something. I don't like the tier on your first death. Because it's not really... Yes, I know it helps you scale. But in this matchup, you're not going to be really needing the bonus mana from tier. And because tier, you don't actually build it into Archangel's staff because it's not very gold efficient at the moment. The only gold efficient component of tier is the actual this item, and then it's kind of shit after that. But because you don't really have mana problems if you're versing a 3-0Z who's always roaming, I don't think building the tier is a good idea. Just because you don't really need it. Like, I know it's like, everyone always buys tier on cast, so therefore I'll just buy it. Don't autopilot your build. And this comes probably with the experience of the game and knowledge of items. Like, you were focusing on Frozen Heart over Zhonya's, but just be like aware of like, okay, I just got solo killed to Zed. Yes, it was a dumb death. Like, yeah, sure, I could have prevented it, but he just solo killed me. He's now 400 gold up. I know this is a tough lane, so I'm going to try and mitigate the toughness of the lane by building defensive, not building like a tier, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Boots out of Dark Seal tier and Amplifying Tome is the best tier. Best buy you've kind of done there. The also problem with this is it's like Build-A-Bear. You've got a tier of the Goddess, you've got a Dark Seal, you've got an Amp Tome, you've got Boots, you've got a Refillable, and you've got Doran Shield. So you're like 6 items, but nothing's getting closer to anything.
Right.
You also now don't have room for a control ward, which can help prevent Zed roams, because you can either put a control ward here, or like, if you put a control ward here, Zed is never going to see this control ward, but it's always going to get you vision of this corridor. So another way to prevent oppressive laners who like to roam is buy a control ward and place it here. Because generally mid laners who are assassins will always go bot lane to gank as a preference. And what this ward does is it gives you vision of this corridor, not only for yourself but also for your team. So I'd actually get in the habit of buying a control ward, particularly like if you die early and if you know Zed's gonna roam, buy a control ward, place it here. Same as if you're blue side, it's a little harder. You're probably gonna have to put it in this bush, and they're gonna see it sometimes. Or you can even put it in this bush again, and still get access to this corridor. Because control wards are a really good counter to roam, because it gives you constant vision that doesn't run out. Yeah, so Zed gets this roam off. The only way you prevent this roam is not having like that first death. Like, it's think of League, it's not like basketball, right, where every time a team scores the game like resets. It's like chess. Every single move you make throughout the game has consequences later on. So like the one death at the start of this game at like level 3 or level 4 gives Zed that little lead, and then he translates it into now pure wave domination where he can always roam. And then it translates into this awkward kind of dragon play where Zed gets the kill, another kill, and he gets another kill. And it like keeps cascading till now it's 9 minutes in, he's 5-0, he's like up 1.2k gold, and your whole team's raging at you. So at this point, yeah, sorry, go.
No, the thing that like I'm struggling with, and you're totally right, is that it's like Bronze League, and it's like, yeah, I died once, but and maybe it's just like a league thing, but it's like I've died once. Like from your, like I haven't done that bad. We got a dragon, and it's just like it feels like the game's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because of the champion identity. So if this was like, if you weren't playing Cass, one death isn't a problem. But because Cass and the Cass Zed matchup, the one death is a problem because it gives Zed tempo to roam and to dominate the lane. So like it is a bit unfortunate that your bot lane isn't reacting to Zed roaming, because it's kind of obvious where he's going to go every time he clears mid wave. But you can't physically control that outcome other than not dying, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, like literally bot lane shouldn't have died here. And it's Bronze League and this shit happens, la la la. But 5-0 at any league is a pretty big lead, and it's a bit of a problem. And arguably it's even bigger in bronze. Like, I know you say it's Bronze League, so it's always comebackable, which is true, and that happens at every rank. But generally players are going to tilt more, and you were kind of already alluding to it where like your players are already getting angry at you for this Zed roaming. So you also got to factor in if your players are so tilted that they can't come back into the game. That's also a factor that you got to look at. So yeah, I think you're right. Like this game feels basically doomed, but it's still potentially come back. Like you could come back from this game. Because when you look at the gold difference, it's really only 2k gold. At 9 minutes, which isn't that big a deal. It's a problem, and they're definitely ahead, but it's not doomed. But right now it feels doomed because you're versing the 5-0Z, who's constantly roaming bot lane. Even though you've got a dragon, even though you're 1-1. Does that? I don't feel like I've answered
Yeah.
your problems though. Can you
No,
explain? Yeah, I did.
no, yeah, you did. You did.
Okay.
It's just yeah, it's interesting.
I think
Yeah.
if you want to avoid this situation is going to happen a lot when you play Kassadin because you can't match Zed in lane really pre-6. So if you want to do it, you either have to play Kassadin so that you don't die pre-6 and you manage the wave. So you can punish Zed every time he roams. You punish, but
Yeah.
if you die once, he gets the tempo that makes that really hard to do. The other one is you play a champion that matches Zed's aggression, or that can deal with him in lane. So like early game champions, maybe like Rumble, because he's got a shield, he's got AoE damage, he can actually trade against Zed 1-for-1 pre-6 quite easily.
Yeah.
Fizz, Echo, like this is again, you'll have to learn a whole new champion for this, and that might not be what you want to do in League. You might just want to focus on Cass because you like his playstyle, you like his identity, you like his kit. And that's okay. Then you have to play the I can't die pre-6 and I need to manage the wave.
Okay.
But if you want to go, well, hang on, I don't want, I actually want to contest the Zed. I don't like this playstyle where I play like the slow scaling champ and I can only like Kassadin doesn't snowball consistently pre-6. Zed is much more consistent as a snowballer because he's an assassin. Cass's champion identity isn't really an assassin until you hit like level 11 to level 16
Mm.
because of his kit. So you just got to understand that Zed's going to be stronger pre-game, and the more you can reduce his pre-game strength, the better it puts your position for when you hit your what's it called, power spikes, I guess is the best way to look at it.
That's cool. So it's like I need to know my identity, but also like the enemies and like the other mid's identity and like what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and what you got to do is go, my identity is chill out scale. So everything I do is chill out scale. I don't want to die. I want to manage the wave. And you're almost doing this. You're almost chilling out and scaling because you're up on CS on him. But that's kind of because he's roamed and gotten 4 kills. And then chill out and scale is good, but then you got to go, okay, well, what else can I do? So I'm playing my champion identity really nice because I'm chilling out and scaling. I'm going for level 6, I'm going for level 11, I'm going for level 16. But then you're like, okay, so what's Zed's champion identity? Okay, he wants to get early kills, he wants to roam, he wants to push in wave. So it's like, okay, how do I reduce pushing in wave? I manage the wave better. I can test him. I don't let him just push it for free. Make it think of waves as like a transaction. Every time he goes for an auto attack, you need to be doing something for that. So whether it's poking him, whether it's going for an auto attack as well, particularly like pre-3, because post-3, it's very hard for you to make transactions on the wave without getting fucked up, which, as we saw, happens. So you need to be level 1 to 2, really manage the wave a bit more aggressively, making sure you're trading damage for damage. And then what else? Okay, Zed likes to roam. How can I prevent roams? Again, wave management, vision. So control ward here prevents it. Yellow trinkets always here. If you can always be putting your yellow trinkets, I think you've got a yellow trinket right now. If you can always just be placing them here, because we know where Zed's going to roam. He's always going to roam bot, so we can prevent his roaming and his champion identity with vision. And then what else can we do to reduce his champion identity? Don't die pre-6. What else can we do? He likes to ult at level 6. Buy the stopwatch at, on your first back maybe. It's 650 gold. It's a realistic buy. And it's super safe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
play to
it is.
your champion identities and try and reduce their win conditions almost as well.
Right.
Okay. What is Garen trying to do? Wow. Okay. Well, there goes Flash. There goes Flash ult Garen.
That was pretty Bronze League.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, Zillion's tilted. This is super awkward. This is just really awkward because there's nothing really you can do here. I mean, yeah. The only thing, what's the other option you could do here? Looking at this wave state right now.
It's gonna push into tower. Just wait at tower.
Yeah. What like, what else? What else? What's the other option?
Recall.
Yeah, because again, he's got a lead. He's 5 kills up, but you can afford to lose 3 or 4 CS if it doesn't mean dying again to the carry. And what you'd lose here is 3 to 4 CS by the time you get back to lane here, and then you're 100% health and you're like safe again. The other thing that also prevents this death theoretically could be like the Seeker's Arm Guard, like an item would have reduced this damage a bit, and you probably could have got your R off or your flash off to actually escape this damage. But yeah, I think the recalls here's good. Just because I don't think if this Zeb was 1-1 or like 0, I wouldn't recall here. I'd risk what you're doing right now. But because he's 5-0 and he's already got his mythic, and you don't have one defensive item, the recall here is safer because it reduces your death and it reduces the gold lead he will get. And it also gives you control. Because if you recall, it means he doesn't get the choice, like the chance to kill you. So you're taking a bit of control off him by going, well, hey, you can push in this wave, but that's all I'm giving you. But now what he gets is he gets to kill you and push in the wave. Whereas if you recall, all he gets is to push in the wave. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So you're giving him like one thing rather than 2 things. It's all about reducing how much he's beating you by. Because at this point he's 5-0. Like it's very hard to beat him now. Because he's 5-0 and you're 1-1. You're not doing badly, but you need to be reducing how much he's getting his advantages by. Why don't you like R a bit earlier here as well? Like as soon as you see this, like I can see by your movement, you're trying to run away from him.
I thought it was safe the entire time. Like
Yeah.
he predicted my movement like that, and I didn't think I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm used to people being bad.
Yeah.
I just thought I was like holding my R for some reason.
Yeah. Don't hold your R. What's your R mana cost at level 1? It's 40 mana. Like you've got a tier. Like your tier literally has that many like level 1 like 1 round riff walks. I know as it stacks it costs more mana, but you can literally just get out of here with 40 mana.
And and I guess it was like lack of respect, but the other thing I was planning to do is usually you can see his W animation.
Yeah.
So I was gonna blink back on him once he W'd onto me. I was gonna blink onto him and electrocute him, like combo him.
Yeah.
But I guess I was out of vision, so I didn't see when he W'd and just like blew me up.
Mm-hmm. Again, I think that going for that is okay if he's 0-0, but 5-0, you shouldn't be trying to trade when you're 40% health and he's 100% health. So I think it's just a bit too much disrespect and not enough thinking about the context of the game. If it's a 0-0-Z, I think, yeah, you can be a bit cocky. But if he's 5-0, right now you just have to reduce how much gold he's getting. Because he's just going to keep snowballing. You're trying to stop the snowball. But trying to trade with him is just giving him more chances. So yeah, I mean, you either recall here or you just use your R early.
Yeah, because you went into fog there. That's why I got.
I also think you just walk to turret, and if he dives you, your trade works way better than the trade here as well. Because if he does go for the dive, well, at least you can try and R him, and you're in vision of him the whole time, so you can preempt it. But if you go this way, you can't preempt anything like as we see. This is now we just so look what Zed gets off. He gets the kill, and guess what he's doing? He's roaming bot lane, and his ult's gonna be up. So he gets the kill, he gets the wave pushed, and he gets the roam off. If you recall here, he doesn't get the kill. He potentially gets the wave pushed, and he gets the roam. So he gets 2 out of 3 instead of 3 out of 3. So he gets 3 things that his champion wants to do, but you could have reduced that by at least 1, potentially 2. Because if you're still alive right now, you've got teleport. So now, potentially, if you recalled, and Zed does this roam, yes, he gets this, but Eve collects the wave. So technically, your team still gets the income, and now you'd be alive, full health, and you can now teleport here, and you either prevent MF from dying, or you guys actually kill Zed and get a 600 gold shutdown.
Yeah.
Super, super different, right? All because of the recall. Like, all because of that recall, this whole next situation changes completely, right?
Yeah.
And benefit of hindsight, of course, like, you're not, like, this, I wouldn't have thought of this necessarily while I was recalling, but what I would have known is I need to recall right now, Zed's 5-0, and I'm 40% health. But then, as I've recalled, now, like, okay, well, I know Zed's roaming, and I've got TP up. Now the opportunity's presented. I'm full health. I can recall here, and now I can fight this. So I'm not saying you need to know that this recall is good because of this. What I'm saying is if you recall, you now have TP, so you can either come back to mid, collect the wave, or you can now help MF try and defend herself. Wow, okay. She gets out. Oh, please get out, MF. Alright, okay. I think she gets out. Cool. So even with my hindsight, I was thinking the TP here is the best play because I literally thought Zed was going to dive MF. I don't know why he doesn't, but... Okay, there it is. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Do you get the shutdown here? Nice. Okay. Similar result, I guess. That kind of happens without the recall. So it's good you get the shutdown. What? Why aren't you going for this?
I don't know.
It's okay. Sorry, I'm not meaning it aggressively. I just want to know the thought process of control ward over all these minions and reducing turret plates.
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
I don't know either. Oh, I think it's because I saw that guy.
Okay.
That's why, because I saw their AD, and I also don't know what that hero does. So
Yeah.
heroes that you don't know what they do are 10 times scarier.
Yeah. If you don't know what they do, I wouldn't be wanting to go near them. So, like, this is the safest option out of anything you can do right now, particularly if you don't know what a champion does. Because are you trying to prevent Aphelios from getting here? Are you thinking if you go here, Aphelios will turret dive you? What?
I just thought he would kill me as I was heading towards Ziggs.
Okay.
Like if I go that way, at least.
Yeah. Because you can just rift walk over this, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'd do... Cool. Kill Zed, and you don't use your flash, which I really like. Stop pathing here, immediately just rift walk back, and you'll stop that turret plating from dying, and you could potentially even get a kill on Ziggs here. If you don't, you can just flash out. But now you've got this opportunity to go for a little bit of a dangerous play here. If you rift walk back here and just walk over, because now you've got a couple of stacks on your rift walk, so you're dealing more damage. You've still got 80% mana, so you can go for one rift walk here, 2 rift walks here, get a nice trade-off, and also get all this CS. But instead, all you do here is get a control ward and waste 15 seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. And like all these things aren't game changing, right? That little play here might not change the outcome of the game, but when we like add up every single little thing we're talking about alternative endings with, it can actually change the outcome of the game. So this from a 23-minute game, this could have changed to maybe like a 33-minute game where you're like level 18 Cassidon with Frozen Heart, Zhonya's, and you're just you're riff walking and you're just smashing everyone. And you've now given yourself the opportunity to get to your strong points and hit your power spikes. So none of these events on their own can really probably change the outcome of the game, but if you add 2 or 3 of them together, 3 or 4, 4 or 5, the less little mistakes we make, the greater our chances of getting to our power spikes, particularly as Cassidon. So what ends up happening here is he actually gets first turret. So let's look at actual how much gold he makes for his team here. Cool, so 17.3k. He just made 1.3k gold for his team while you were trying to kill a control ward. So it's like, I'm just trying to, again, sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just trying to put into perspective how big that is, right? 1.3k gold is literally like 3 or 4 kills. And he just got that in a matter of 10 seconds, all because of how you decided to play here. Which is like massive when you think about it in that context. Cool.
That's helpful. I'm definitely gonna defend turrets more in the future.
Yeah. Particularly when platings are up. Okay, what are we thinking here right now? Let's talk about the state of the map. Tell me what the current state is here.
Zed is dead, or like...
Yeah. In base, coming back to lane, yep.
So it's like pretty good time to fight, I think.
Okay. Yep. What else?
E's nearby. He's kind of far though.
Yeah.
MF is doing okay.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. What's
Oh, mid's getting pushed in.
Yeah. I'd be immediately trying to come back to get this farm. I'd also be noticing that Dragon's coming up, as you can see by the timer. And I'd also notice that Zillion's kind of tilted. And that Rift's up. So what I would actually be thinking at this point, if I was you as mid-cast, I would be thinking they're going to be focusing Dragon. What could even I potentially do while they're focusing Dragon? What do you think?
Put up a yellow preemptively? Like a ward?
Do you guys think you can contest Dragon if Zillion's top side? And you're a 2 and 2 Caston, a 0-2 MF, and a 1 and 2 E versus 1 and 2 6 and 1 1-0 0-0?
No, probably not.
Cool. So what else could you do?
Push mid.
Yeah. What else in terms of like trading neutral objective for neutral objective?
Oh, at the Rift?
Yeah, potentially you guys could get Rift pre-14, and maybe you get platings mid, or maybe you get platings, maybe you get platings top, maybe you get platings mid. Rift pre-14 will guarantee you guys 2 platings, which is, I think it's 160 solo gold, or 80 gold each. So, yeah, it's big gold. It's like a potential like 300 gold for you guys. But if you're not even thinking of that, that's never an opportunity. So whenever in a game state like this, what I'd be thinking is we're behind, we can't contest the next dragon, but that's okay. It's not Dragon Soul. It's not, it's not a very important dragon. It's a cloud dragon and we can't contest it anyway. So we just leave it. But what could we do so that they don't just get dragon for free? Well, instead of like sitting here, I could start walking up top and I could start pinging Eve to go Rift because she's already heading that way. So maybe we're both thinking on the same page and now we can do Rift. Get this farm and then I've got TP up and maybe you can recall and do something.
Okay.
But instead, you guys are now sharing XP. So when you're both in lane, you're just sharing XP. And there's no real way for you to get around here because they've got vision here as well. So yeah, you go up mid, which is good. I'd actually put that ward here. Why? I don't like this blue buff. Why do you think I don't like this blue buff?
It's like it's just obviously stupid. I don't like you're getting pushed in it's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're
I'm
probably a
gonna be
little
like
bit
half
tilted
health
at this
by the
point.
end.
Yeah. Because it also
Okay.
just now allows Zed to get another rotation timer. Wow, no one goes for dragon. Okay. I thought they were going to go for dragon here straight away. But they roam top. So I think the cool thing, even though they don't go for dragon, so even though it didn't play out like it played out in my head, that you guys can take Rift, I think even if you were thinking this process, that Rift is an option, you'd probably be up here right now instead of wasting like 10 to 15 seconds here, wasting another 10 to 15 seconds here, and then getting to lane. You would have got to this 30 seconds earlier, so you would have gotten probably like an additional 10 CS, and then you would have been probably already on your way up here, so that when Zed ults here, you're now like here, ready to jump over. But now you're like, because you're 30 seconds behind the state of play, like, yeah, you've got blue buff, but Zed's getting killed. Or like, not kills, but he's basically like, again, playing his identity however he wants to. Yeah, he gets a kill. This is kind of risky, but let's watch what happens. I guess you're looking for a pick. Cool. I just go up, defend top. Yeah. Cool. Drag's kind of not on at the moment because of this positioning. I think rotating mid though is the right call. As you do. Okay. Okay, this isn't a bad fight. Let's see this play out. Good job. Okay. Why don't we chase here?
I think I was just really scared of Zed.
Okay. There. What do we know that he... So he just killed Fiora, right? I guess probably at the time you weren't... Were you looking at Fiora dying?
Nah, I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. What could you assume if Fiora died? She's like level 9, 1-1. She's not too far behind. Do you think Zed can kind of 1v1 her without ult?
No.
Yeah. So if I was you at this situation, I would realize I would assume Zed doesn't have ult because he just killed Fiora with it, and then he's just used his W. And he's used his flash previously. I don't know when he used his flash. We don't know that information. So let's say we even know that he has flash. Let's play this out with vision. Garen's here. Ziggs is here. We don't really know where Ziggs is, but we know where Garen is because we can assume he recalled after you did that little poke on him. So right now, the only threat to you by chasing this is the Aphelios Zed. But I think you can actually one-tap the Zed, plus you've got flash. Maybe. I think you could have chased it and maybe looked, but instead this kind of happens and we play to their strength. Oh. Okay. That was pretty tricky by Zed. That's worth. And like this Zed isn't actually that good. He's doing some dumb shit. Like you killed him here. He was doing dumb shit. That was kind of like just unnecessary. Like he played it well, right? He's 9-2, so he has done some things right, but he's not like a god. It's not as if he's like smurfing. He's still a bronze player. He's just gotten a lead. So like this game, like as you were saying, it's like it's a bronze game. It's still technically you guys can come back from this. You're again only 3k gold down at 15 minutes, which is bad, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I mean, you can't do much here because Zillion just doesn't want to play the game. This is also a problem, right? Zillion isn't playing the game. Like, it makes it very hard. Yeah. Nothing much is happening here. I'm just fast forward it because there's not much going on. Again, what I'm like most proud of you is this CS score. Like, and your KD, to be honest. Like, this is really good. I'm always harping on negatives with you, but the fact that you're up CS against a Z and you're 3-2, like, you've done pretty well, considering that first death and the state of this game where Zillion doesn't want to play the game, and your whole team's like 0-2, 1-2, 1-4. You're doing quite well for the situation. So yes, I'm pointing out a lot of flaws and like mistakes and stuff, but you're still playing quite well. I think it's worth going in here. Yeah, awesome. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I think it was worth going in, but I mean, you get out. Doesn't really matter Eve dying there because she's already 1-4, so she's not worth that much gold. But I think it's worth taking a risk there because you guys are behind. Oh. Yeah, see, in this game, I wouldn't have gone Everfrost first. I would have gone Zhonya's first. Everfrost is good, but it's like this game you need to like stop the bleeding of the Z, and the Zhonya's allows you to do like some good outplays.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, cool. So like at this point, the game is kind of doomed because Zillion doesn't want to play the game. We can keep watching. I wouldn't contest this. I mean, Zillion Fiora top. I think this is okay, but don't try and overextend here for the fight. Cool. Jesus. Yeah. It's kind of doomed at this point. Let's watch it play out. Actually, I don't... Does much else happen in this game, do you know?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's over.
Cool. Alright, watch just that first 15 minutes. What did you learn?
Like so much.
Yeah.
One is like the impact of just like the smallest little like things that I like don't think are a big deal, and then they like really just add up. Like even just like picking bone plating would have like made a huge difference, and then like on top of that, there's like 8 other things like building defensive items, um, like knowing what the enemy mid's identity is. Like it definitely like I actually thought like pushing late like the wave to tower was good for me, but now I realize it's better to kind of keep it just like in my corner in my court, but not crashing.
Yeah.
Um so doing that, like contesting, also realizing that Zed at level 1 can't really do much. He just has the Q and I can like hit him back.
Yeah.
Um there's a bunch of other things like checking smite on objectives.
Yeah.
Um maybe trying Rumble.
Yeah, if you
Also,
want to try different champs.
yeah, I'll probably still play cast, but I would be interesting to experiment.
Yeah. Cass also gets better the higher rank you go because your team understands what Cass does. Like, everyone will understand Kasten's identity of like, okay, if Kasten just gets to level 11 or level 16, like it's potentially GG. And that will happen as you get higher and higher rank. But in bronze, like no one's thinking that. They're all just like Zillion's thinking, fuck this, I'm just gonna troll. MS thinking, why the fuck is Zed always roaming? They never actually think, well, hang on, Kasten literally can't match a Zed roaming. Like, they don't understand that the identities are like very different. They just think, well, if Zed's bot lane, why isn't my Kassadin bot lane as well? They don't actually think of the game. They think of the game like that rather than actually, well, Kassadin is scaling. But the higher rank you go, they go, well, okay, at least Kassadin's getting a plating, or at least Kassadin's doing this, or maybe actually Kassadin TP's down, and helps out. So Kassadin's like a tough one in bronze, but I think it's still playable. But champs like Zed and stuff are actually easier picks just because they're assassins and they can snowball very consistently, and they don't take until like level 6, level 11 to get really strong.
Right, that makes sense.
What else? What else did you learn?
Not autopiloting my builds,
Yeah.
And also buying way quicker.
Yeah. You can reduce your buy times by like 15 seconds. This is massive. And that comes from knowing builds a bit more as well. Like, it was weird that game because you took a 20-second buy time, but you were also almost autopiloting your build. Or maybe you just didn't know what to build, so you're like, first thing that comes to mind, I've seen people go Dark Seal on Kassadin, I'll just go Dark Seal. So like, it's almost like you didn't even really know the build path, but you're just going off like instinct almost or something. Like, oh yeah, Dark Seal's cool, I've got 350 gold, I'll just buy it.
Yeah. And I did know my build was a problem that game. Like even as I was doing it, I was like, this doesn't feel right. But
yeah. What would I also recommend looking at these builds? Do not finish this. Never finish Archangels.
Okay, that's usually my second.
Oh, sorry, Seraphs, yeah. Never finish it, just leave it on tier. You'll hit bigger power spikes with Frozen Heart, with Zhonya's, with anything else you go. And what you actually do is you hold your tier until 6th item, and then you sell it, and you'll get Death Cap, you'll get Void Staff, you'll get something else. Because statistically speaking, Seraph's Embrace just isn't that good anymore. It can be for the Kassadin depending on the game. Like if you're needing to use your ult a lot and the 860 mana, you really need it. Yes, you can. It's okay as a 6th item, but don't get it unless you're actually having mana problems. That entire game I watched you didn't have mana problems once. Kassadin generally won't have too many mana problems, but if you do, then you can build the Seraphs. But if you're not, don't build it just because you're autopilot building. If that makes sense.
Doesn't make sense.
You also get a lot of mana, well, like a decent amount of mana from Frozen Heart. That's like 3 or 4 Rifts ults on its own. But yeah, always hold off on that. Yeah.
When should I go Rift versus
Everfrost. Riftmaker would generally be for more extended fights, and if you're wanting to, I guess, have a bit more sustain, because Riftmaker is a better sustain item. Everfrost is better for like CC and crowd control, because of its active. I personally don't actually know the optimal build for Kassadin right now. I'm gonna quickly look something up. I like to use, I don't know if you've heard of u.gg before.
Oh yeah, I have. But
yeah. Or there's heaps of sites that do this. I mean, people actually go Fleet. I prefer Electrocute. I think in tougher matchups, you could go Fleet. So like if Zed and you want to go Sustain, you could go Fleet if you want. It does reduce the Electrocute power spike though. But if you're like so worried about the fact that you don't think you can get out of laning phase, Fleet is good because it gives you sustain. And then you can go the bone plating secondary if you want. So that's another alternative defensive path, because then you can go Fleet. You can also go Presence of Mind. So I think if you're going precision tree, this will help you have more mana. Because every time you every time you damage someone, you get mana regen, and then every time you get a takedown, you restore 15% of your maximum mana. So basically, as Kassadin, that's another free ult, or another 2 free ults every time you get a kill, which basically solves his mana problems entirely with just one rune. Particularly in the mid late game where your rift, your ult is costing a lot of money. A lot of mana. So that's the cool thing about going fleet primary is you get presence of mind. You also get tenacity, which reduces crowd control, and then you can go coup de grace, cut down, or last stand, and then you can go flexible on this. So I'd suggest trying fleet in really tough matchups where you like, I need to get out of laning phase here, because Kassadin's still going to do a lot of damage. Yes, the electrocute adds a lot of extra damage, but you can still be very scary as Cass with fleet. But it does delay your power spike more to like level 11 rather than level 6. Like level 6 cast with electrocute is scary as fuck. But fleet will delay it to basically like level 11. Maybe, you can still be super scary at level 6, but it's not going to be as much damage. Okay, people go Ludens as well. Interesting.
I've gone that when they're like I tend to go that when they're all like really squishy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Kassadin probably doesn't have a set one. I think, yeah, like, I like the idea of, like, not autopiloting the build and just testing. So, like, Everfrost could be good for, like, if you need heaps of CC. Yeah, Riftmaker can be good for sustain. So, let's say you're versing tanks and, you're not going to be able to one-shot people. That could be better because then you can extend the fight to longer because you're getting Omnivamp. And then Ludens, yeah, as you said, squishies, like Electrocute, you can literally one-tap people with Ludens, with Electrocute, as soon as you hit it. So yeah, I think build kind of based on that. Don't always just go for one. Because Kassadin's very versatile with his Mythic.
That's awesome.
All
right.
Yeah, that's all I have. Did you have any more questions? You can always ask me after. Like, just feel free to DM me whenever you have questions about anything.
No, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Like I learned so much. Like it's funny because when I'm playing, I'm like, I'm not even making that many mistakes. Why is every game so tough? And then now I'm watching, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, and again, like Zillion was inting, your bot lane shouldn't have died to that many Zed roams, but it's like, how can we try and prevent that? How can we get more control? How can we take more control personally, like more personal responsibility?
right.
Because we can't change, if Zillion's gonna rage, we can't change that, right? We have to play through that. And like, if MF doesn't react to Zed roam, we can't really change that unless we TP down when Zed roams, or we've managed the wave better. But if we don't give ourselves the opportunity to try and change that stuff, you can't change it without actually helping them.
That makes sense. So what should I do next if I'm trying to like climb to silver, or is that a separate conversation, or like what's next? Like what do people usually do?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It depends how you want to play. The quickest way is one tricking. It doesn't really matter what champ. If you want to go with Cass, you can go with Cass and start varying up the builds depending on what you need to do. If you're versing a Zed, go fleet footwork, go bone plating. Just get past level 6. And then build defensive and then scale. If you want to kill squishies, go Ludens. Like Kassadin can climb you out of bronze. But then so could Rumble, so could Fizz, so could any champion. So it depends on a couple of things. One, how you want to play the game. Do you just want a one trick, or do you want to expand your champion knowledge? Two, how quickly do you want to get into silver? Do you want to get there as soon as possible? Well, then one tricking is your best bet. You can even take that one step further of, do I want to get silver and I don't care how I do it? We'll get a new account and you can get silver in your first 10 placement games. If you go anywhere from I think 5 and 5 to 6 and 4 in your placements on a new account, you'll get silver. So on a new account in your first 10 games, you could get silver. In your first 50 games, you could be gold. But that's again depending on your preference. Do you just you don't care what it takes? You just want to get back to where your friend's rank is, and if that means starting a new account and just spamming Cassidon for those first 10 placements, and really focusing on build, runes, and not autopiloting, then do that because you could literally get silver in 10 games. If you're doing it on this account, if I was you, again, I'd be one tricking Caston, but it's probably going to take 50 games, I would say, to get. Oh, no, even more. Probably like potentially 100 to 150 games to go from bronze. Oh, you're 94 LP actually, so probably like 75 to 100 games, I'd say, is a moderate estimate, just because of this current win rate. It's quite shit, which means your MMR is a little bit bad.
Yeah. Okay.
But then if you're like, hey, I actually want to learn the game a bit more, and I'm okay, I'm okay with being bronze 3 for a bit longer if it means I'm going to learn some new champions, and potentially I might find like this hidden gem that it really fits my playstyle. Like maybe, I don't know, in Dota, what were your champions that you played? I can kind of remember a few of the champs. Like, were there any champion identities that stood out? It's like, I just click with this champion.
I was a support in Dota.
Okay, okay. So you don't want to
Like
be
the
support in this.
well, it was kind of like the jungle position, I guess would be the equivalent, but it's like I find jungle has like it's I find it's the hardest role. It's like by far the most decisions and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
I would say mid is a really good role to like play to focus on, as particularly for you, but just in general for new players, I think mid's a really good role to focus on. Um, so I don't think the role's a problem then, I guess. Particularly because you want to learn it. I think that's fine. Um, yeah. So I mean, what do you want? Like, based on what those things I just said, what attracts you the most? What idea
yeah,
attracts to you?
I want to do it like from bronze 3 to silver. Like the I'll take the long way, but yeah, and it's good to have a realistic expectation of games.
Yeah.
And already I feel like even like I probably just gained like at least 5% win rate. Or, I don't know. I guess I hope.
It I would suggest it's probably even more than that. Oh, well, I guess 5% win rate, yes, on Cassidon, but this win rate, if you just keep one tricking Cassidon with a 5% win rate, this is going to start climbing. And if you can get this up to like 53% in your next like 50 to 75 games, you're going to save this account. But this account's very, very close to being unsavable if you spend your next 50 games at like a 39% win rate.
Right.
And given that your Caston is showing the most potential in terms of win rate with all your champions, I'd really suggest knuckling down. Particularly because it seems like you've taken an attraction to him. And you've got a pretty good understanding. The way you're playing Cassidon, you look decently comfortable on him. So I think it's fine to focus on him.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
What was the last thing I was gonna say? I was gonna say, if you do want to have the best of both worlds, so let's say you want a one-trick cast, but you also want to expand your champion pool or maybe try a new role or something. Have two accounts. Have one account for climbing, and then one account for learning. So, oh, maybe I just lost two in a row on my main, and I'm a bit tilted. But I still want to play League. Okay, I'll go to my second account, and I want to learn Rumble. I want to learn Fizz. I actually want to try out Jungle again. Maybe I want to try support. And you go to that account and just play around. And, maybe it gets a higher rank than your main, and you're like, okay, cool. And maybe you decide, oh, I'm going to play on this one a bit more. But it gives you like that option and that opportunity to like, oh, if I'm tilted or if I want to try something, I'm not going to sabotage my account that I'm trying to climb to the highest rank possible with. I'm actually going to use another account because then I don't care about the outcome of the game. I just care about the improvement and I care about learning. Or maybe I just want to troll with my friends. Or maybe I'm just tilted. That's a really good balance to have. And it avoids win rates like this because it means every game you're playing tilted, every game you're like trying out a new champ, you're not doing it on your main account that you want to climb to the highest rank possible with. You're doing it on your like burner account.
Yeah, that's
If
a good.
yeah, And then if you don't want two accounts, or if you don't want to, level up an account, you don't want to buy one, you can buy them and they won't get banned. Just do your research. I'm not promoting it or anything. I don't know anyone. I'm not sponsored by Boost account
It's
buyers.
okay. I
Um,
actually already have a
oh,
second account. So.
cool. Then that's how I'd split your time. That's how I do it. That's how I recommend pretty much everyone to do it. Because we're going to have games where we're tilted. We're going to have games where I don't feel like playing Cassid in this game. And that's fine. Just do it on another account.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
and that will, again, increase your win rate probably by, if you do that strictly, like have one account for climbing, one account for learning, it's like 5 to 10% win rate increase, like depending on where your current win rate. For you, like that's probably going to help in another like 5 to 10%, I'd say, from a 39% win rate. So plus the Cassidon, you could be looking at a 55% win rate, which is ideal for climbing in your next 50 to 75 games, which is really what you want.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's all I have. I've recorded this as well, so I'll send you the recording. So you can rewatch it if you want to.
Okay.
And then, if you want another session in a couple of weeks, just let me know. If you just ever want to ask me a question, or even go like, hey, this game, like I wasn't sure what to build, just send me a screenshot and I'll answer it.
Dude, thank you so much. I thought the price was steep, but this has been just like amazing value. I feels that I'm just like in awe. Thank you. I've learned so much.
Awesome. No, it's my pleasure, dude. I love this. Like these are the sessions I love the most because we've opened you up to a whole new world of League of Legends. I feel like it's unleashed. Yeah. The potential is there. So I really enjoy it. But yeah, keep in touch as well. I want to know your progress, if nothing else.
I will.
Awesome. All right, Julian. Thanks for your time. I'll send you the recording once I've uploaded it.
Perfect. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too, dude. See ya.